Good morning, everyone. Today, Susan and I are going to head up from our home in Central Florida to go all the way up to Ocala, a couple hours away, to the Silver Spring glass bottom boats. It's a pretty neat attraction. I remember seeing it when I was a kid. I've been there a couple times since we moved here to Florida a couple years ago. It's a really neat excursion. It's a glass bottom boat, and they talk a little bit about the history of them, but that attraction's been around, oh my gosh, for many, many years. So sit back and enjoy the ride, and we'll talk to you later.
He's scootering across the USA, from near and far and day to day. He's scootering across the USA. He shows you the accessible way. He's the accessible traveler, the accessible traveler. He's the accessible traveler. He travels the accessible way. He's the accessible traveler.
Don't forget to subscribe.
We're moving through the night like we're from a different star, flying over streets and our broken hearts. But they can't even touch us, we found a different beat. Paradise is waiting and we bought the lead. Oh, getting caught in the mist is a minute that never get out of. They're feeding the fears and the doubts. Ooh, but we go and we run to the end and we run without shame. We own the game. And we ride on the flames till the morning light. Baby, 'cause we're dynamite. Ain't nobody gonna hold us down. Break all the rules, let them run and hide. Baby, 'cause we're dynamite. Gonna let the world know. We're dynamite, we're dynamite. We're from a different time, yeah, we're of a different breed. 'Cause what we got is timeless, we supersede. And we're holding the key, yeah, we're tight as can be. We're rolling, just like we please. Oh, getting caught in the mist is a minute that never get out of. We're feeding the fears and the doubts. Ooh, but we go and we run to the end and we run without shame. We own the game, and we ride on the flames till the morning light. Baby, 'cause we're dynamite. Ain't nobody gonna hold us down. Break all the rules, let them run and hide. Baby, 'cause we're dynamite. Gonna let the world know. Gonna let the world know. We're dynamite, we're dynamite.
All right, we're heading into Silver Springs. It's a really neat tourist attraction. Like I was saying in the intro, this has been here for a lot of years. I remember coming to this place when I was a kid.
Brought my sons here too.
That's right.
Pretty cool.
Yep. You bought the tickets, honey?
You have them on your phone, and then I have those things.
Yeah, those things would be good to give them because I think they have a barcode on them. You can buy your tickets online buy them in advance. Now they will require you during COVID, obviously, to wear masks, so make sure you bring some kind of a face covering. Trying to find Pokey. Where's Pokey? There she is.
Pokey, I'm trying to find the things now. You said find. Here they are.
All right.
The black hole in my purse.
Oh my God, that thing's like a suitcase.
It's a weapon.
She had to get one when we were in Gatlinburg. She had to get it because she needed one. Her straps on her other one kept breaking.
This is wonderful. It's a big thick strap.
Heck yeah, it's made out of like
leather.
cowhide leather.
Oh, it's the Cherokee place
In other words, she needed something heavy duty to carry all of her stuff.
yes, my stuff.
I'd say good morning, welcome aboard. It's still morning, right? Yeah. Well, my name's Captain Steve. I'm going to be your guide down the Silver River. Anybody here for the first time? All right, awesome. Welcome to Silver Springs. A little chilly, but you picked a nice sunny day to come out. Now, a couple things as we get started. First, we are a licensed inspected Coast Guard vessel. Therefore, your life jackets are located over your head. Should we find the need for one, just reach up and grab it, pull it down, pull it over your head, wrap a strap around that sunshine. Now, we also have a variety of freshwater fish. Most common are bluegill, long-nosed gar, mullet, bass, bowfin, shad, catfish, just to name a few. So we got a little breeze. I'll see me adjusting the boat here a little bit to make sure I put you where I want you so you can see the different springs as we head down. This bird here on the left real quick is one of our diamond birds. It's up here in the wall. It's called the nanhinga. Now it's a male nanhinga. They call it the snake bird because it's got that long snake-like neck and a spear-like beak. Now the other ones are the cormorants. And these are birds you'll see diving underwater and come up with a fish. Now the reason you see them stand with their wings out is because they don't have any natural oil like a duck. So periodically they do have to come out, spread their wings, and basically dry themselves out so they don't become waterlogged. And then back in the water they go. So we're making our way into the first spring area right over here. It's called the Spring of Stars. There's some bluegill down there. There's little striped fish. And this first spring area is 26 feet deep.
Wow.
Now that silvery material I see down there on the bottom, that's limestone. It's one of the reasons the river got its name, the Silver River, because when the sun shines in, sun shines on it, it reflects and gives off that silvery or silvery blue appearance. Now it got its name because it's dedicated to all the movie stars that have been here over the years doing TV and movie productions. As far back as 1916, that's when they started making movies here. And ABC Broadcasting owned this property for many years, did a lot of different film events. Now all the water comes out of these different little openings. Some of these little caves, or some of them could be just a little hole in the bottom of the river with water coming out. We'll be seeing more of these bluegill on here in just a second. Now the next spring we're coming into, a little bit larger and deeper. This one coming up is 35 feet down to the bottom. Now this spring got its fame because back in 1954, they were in here filming scenes from a very popular horror movie. And you might have heard of it. It's called The Creature from the Black Lagoon. It's one of the many TV and movie productions filmed here over the years. Now, as I circle around, we should have a few of those bluegill going to swim under the glass here for your viewing enjoyment. So let's wait for them to come on in. Here they come. Now this river is now classified as a wildlife preserve. There's no swimming, diving, hunting, or fishing. It's all protected for the animals that live here.
Oh, there's a dive boat over there.
Say again? No maintenance. Nature does all the maintenance for us. Yep.
So what was the scoop?
Nothing here man-made. This is all made by thousands of years of water flowing out of the ground.
They were making things for the airport to show, like at the airport.
So we're going to duck into this little cove around the corner and check out another spring down here at the end. Next spring coming up down here at the end is called the Florida Snowstorm. Now this spring got its name because if you look down there you can kind of see the water coming out. It's stirring up that limestone. It sort of looks like a snow globe.
There you go.
Now the amount of water that comes out is all regulated by the amount of rain that we get. Basically the more it rains, the more water, and the deeper the river. And vice versa. And that's how the river rises and falls. Negative down here. Now the water does come up from the Floridan Aquifer, which is an underground series of rock formations that water flows through and provides us with all our fresh water.
How deep did you say this one is?
This is about 28 feet. down to the bottom. Now some of these springs down into the aquifer can range anywhere from 1,800 to 2,000 feet. So let's head down river here a little bit. Now just off the right side of the boat, you see in the grass over here, you see these birds with those orange beaks. They're called moorhens. But they nickname them water chickens because they're a water bird, but they have feet like a chicken. They don't have any wet feet like a duck. And if I set up take a photo, you're welcome to do that. We're going to be going nice and slow. So no problem with that. This little duck here off to the right, generally you see two of them, but only see one. It's called a grebe. It's a diving duck. Dive down, eat little things off the bottom. That's as big as they get. Tiny little thing. Now the largest of the herons is the great blue heron, and there's one here off to the right there, over there in the grass. You can see him kind of bent over, scoping something out. Now directly off the right side of the boat, well, of course up in the trees you have those are the cormorants. That white bird with the long curved orange beak is called a white ibis. Pretty common river bird. But the smaller blue or white one there, off to the left, over near that great blue, that is a little blue heron. But that's a juvenile because they're pure white when they're born, and as they mature, they turn blue. All the greenery you see below the boat is called eelgrass. It grows about 3 or 4 feet long. And you can kind of see it all wave in one direction. Well, that is the direction of the river coming out of the main spring at about 5 miles an hour. That's the average speed of the current. Now this river, the Silver River, is about 5 miles long. It flows into the Ocklawaha River. That flows into the St. Johns River. And that flows northbound up to Jacksonville and flows into the Atlantic Ocean. There's a female and he can go off to the right. The females have that tan head and neck, whereas the males are all black. A little bit of white on them. Now, this time of year it's very common to see a manatee, or actually more than one. Because they come up because this water is 72, and they can't really tolerate water when it gets down to the 60s. We have not seen any up here as of yet, but we're always on the lookout. So we'll see if any have come up so far. But a lot of times we'll see them on the extended tour, and that's a 90-minute tour we run with this the open boats on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. So we'll see them a little further down. We go down about 1.5 miles or so. But they're just, everything here is all wild, so you just never know what's going to turn up.
Did I read where there are rhesus monkeys here sometimes?
We do have the rhesus monkeys. We have not seen any as of yet today, but they are here somewhere. Yep, rhesus macaque.
Huh.
Now this is the called the Spring of Life. Just another spring area with many different size and shape springs. Now I'm going to be circling a long, narrow rock formation, and right next to it, about 25 feet down, you're going to see a long, narrow piece of wood. Kind of looks like a long board. Well, years ago, we had a team of research scientists or researchers came down from the University of Florida. They dove down, they examined it, and they believe it to be the remains of an old dugout canoe left behind by the Timucuan Indians that were here over 500 years ago. It's our oldest artifact here in the water. Now, you're probably wondering how can it still be there if it's hundreds of years old. Now, in many cases, they use cypress wood to make these canoes. Cypress trees are very common here, and they call cypress wood the eternal wood because it will never rot as long as it's kept submerged in water. It's only about 3 feet wide, but probably 20 feet long. Now you saw that little blue heron, the white one back there. Here's the adult version here on the left. That's a fully mature one. That's all blue now, over there in the grass.
Turtle right here. Got his head out of the water.
So we're heading into the Blue Grotto. It's another spring area coming up. It's about 30 feet deep. One of the more scenic ones, in my opinion. Now this is what you call a first magnitude spring. And all that means is it's the largest of all 8 categories of springs. Now in order to be classified as that, it has to flow at least 100 cubic feet of water every second. That equates to about 65 million gallons of water or more coming out of one spring every day. Now there's 27 of these first magnitude springs here in Florida, but over 700 recorded springs of all sizes, which is more than anywhere else on the planet. And all those springs combined can flow as much as 8 billion gallons of water every day. Now I was hoping to see some of our alligators because it's nice and sunny, but the air is still a little chilly and they don't like the cold. So they might still be in the water. But I haven't seen any up this far so far. Now we're in the dry season. You can see the some of the marks on some of the trees where the water was and where it is now. We're down probably at least 3 feet. The river can fluctuate 3 to 4 feet depending on different rainfall. So we could use a little bit more water. Now, back in 1958, we had an actor here named Lloyd Bridges. He was here filming a TV series called Sea Hunt. Yep. Coming up around the corner here on the left is the Sea Hunt dock. This is the last remaining structure that was actually used in the filming of that TV series. All the other buildings associated with that show have been dismantled and removed. Ran that show until about 1961, did many episodes. And now they kind of fixed it up. It is a nice place to come, sit, relax, and enjoy the view. There's some trails up. We'll bring you right down here to it. Now, out of all the TV and movies, or parts thereof, since 1916, there is quite a long list. There's one series of movies that is probably the most well-known. And the first of 6 of these movies was filmed here in 1932. At that time, it starred an Olympic gold medal winner. He was a swimmer named Johnny Weissmuller. And the movies were Tarzan. Now this park has been open since 1878. It is Florida's oldest attraction, but it's been a state park since 2013. Now these glass bottom boats have been running one form or another for well over 100 years. Now they weren't always these big aluminum boats. They started as small little wooden boats, almost like a rowboat style. That they would cut a panel or two on the bottom, put a piece of glass in it. One guy would take a few people out, row them around, show them the springs. And that's how it would all begin. Well, this little cove in here is called Cypress Spring. Called that because there's a big old cypress tree here that we're going to circle over. Got a couple turtles down here at the end on up to the right. Found them a nice little sunny spot.
Oh, yeah, there's 2 and 3 over there. 4.
There's a lot of
And that's why they call them the sliders, because when they're done, they just slide back in the water. Now we're going to be coming over this big old cypress tree, and right under it, you're going to see the remains of an old wooden boat. Well, remember what I said about those panels that they would cut on the bottom? A little hard to see because of the sediment, but you can see the outline of those 2 panels. One piece of glass is actually still intact when it's broken. This is one of the original glass bottom boats. That's how they used to do it.
Did the tree fall on the boat?
Say again?
Did the tree fall on the boat? Is that
The boat was actually put down there years ago when they were building the boat barn, which is down around back by the kayaks. To keep all our glass bottom boats, they excavated this boat. They found it back in there, so they brought it out here so people could see it.
Oh, okay.
The tree just fell whenever, but they actually did put that boat there for everybody to see. Now, currently, as a state park, it's pretty much a nature park now. Before, it was a theme park or adventure park. It had animals and different rides and all kinds of stuff going on here. And really, the only thing left over from the old days is the glass bottom boat ride that in one form or another has been showing people the springs well over 100 years at this point. Now, a lot of folks here remember being here years ago riding these boats. If you were here on this boat in particular in 1965, you would have been on a brand new boat. That's when this boat was put in service. All electric power. These boats have been electric since the 30s. Now through the trees here off to the right, you're going to see a big white building way back in there. It's called the Twin Oaks Mansion. But it's not a residence. It was built here back in the early 90s as an outdoor concert hall. It's really actually a facade. It's not a full mansion. But there is a ballroom there. At this point, they use it for special events and weddings. They used to use it for all the outdoor open-air concerts years ago when it was privately owned. Now, straight out the front door, all the way up there, that wooded area that we're going to be coming up to, is an island. It's called Ross Allen Island. It was named after a gentleman named Ross Allen that was here many years ago as a wildlife expert. He was actually a scientist, but he was very well versed in wildlife and did some animal shows when they had the animals here. The specialty was working with the venomous snakes and alligators and things of that nature. And he was one of the forerunners on the development of anti-venom for venomous snake bites. He also got to work with some of the movie stars. Back in the 40s, he worked with Gregory Peck when they were here doing scenes from The Yearling. And he worked with Johnny Weissmuller on his Tarzan movies. Because when it came time for Tarzan to jump in the river and wrestle the alligator, Johnny did not want to do that for some reason. So they brought in Ross Allen. He dressed as Tarzan, took care of that for him. So they named the island after him, and on the island is the boardwalk. You can see a little bit of it through the trees there off to the left. It's a nice little boardwalk loop, so if you want to take a little stroll, it's just a nice place to go in there and check out. On the other side is a waterway. It's called the Fort King Paddle Trail. That's for all the paddlecraft that launch and run down through the park. Now, coming up on the right side of the boat, up on the walking path, around the corner here, you're going to see a statue standing up there. It's a statue of a young warrior that later became the chief of the Seminoles. His name was Osceola. Now, he's most famous for taking a stand against the government years ago and not signing the peace treaty, because he didn't want to give up his land here and move out west. So, much to their dismay, never did sign it. Now they say when they presented that document to him, took out his knife and stabbed it into the table. Well, maybe he did. Now also coming up to the boat here off to the right front is a palm tree that has grown out over the bank of the river in the shape of a loop. This is a sable palm, which is the Florida state tree. Now, why the tree grew this way, no one seems to know, but they believe this tree has been there almost 100 years.
It's almost like we could get fresh water.
And there's 9 times out of 10, there's an anhingus that's standing on it. They love to hang on that tree there. Still have divers in the water? Say again? So we're making our way to the main spring here called the Mammoth Spring, and this is where the river starts. Now this one spring is classified as the largest artesian spring in the country and the 3rd largest in the world. They say as much as 500 million gallons of water can come out of this one spring every day. And that's enough that would fill up an Olympic pool in 4 minutes. And that's what made it very popular with the TV and movie producers back in the day, because of the size and the depth of the water. Because you can see it's a large area that's over 50 feet deep. I'm going to show you that here in just a minute. Now some of the fish you'll be seeing in here, other than the bluegill, those smaller ones, we have about a medium-sized fish. It's a blue fish with a V-shaped tail. It's called a blue shad. Then we have a larger blue one. It's kind of a fatter fish with bug eyes and almost like a fan tail. That is a tilapia, which are not native to Florida, but they're in here. Now the springs in this area are a cave system that starts off to the right and kind of follows the contour like a big half circle. Cave's about 10 or 12 feet high, and it's got a big rock ledge over it, and I'll show you part of it up here towards the front. And that's where all the water comes from. Now this whole area is completely refreshed with brand new water out of the aquifer every 38 minutes. It's a very rapid exchange of water, which is why it's always crystal clear. Now, one more thing I want to show you. We're going to circle over 3 statues here on the bottom. Now, these are leftover movie props used in many different TV movies. I'll tell you about a few of them. One was an old TV show from back in the late 60s called I Spy. That starred Robert Culp and Bill Cosby. Also used in 3 of the James Bond movies. One in 1965 called Thunderball. That starred Sean Connery. And then in 1979, it was used in scenes from Moonraker. That was Roger Moore. And then 1983 was the return of Sean Connery in his Bond movie, Never Say Never Again. They're about 7 feet tall, made out of fiberglass and weighted down with concrete. Now there's only 3 of the maybe 10 or 12 that originally were put down there or left. When the movie company pulled out, they took the rest, left these 3. And they've been down there on the bottom ever since. The names are Zeus, Hades, and Poseidon. At one point during their career here, they represented those 3 Greek gods in one of the productions. Let the wind and current kind of push me. Everybody got a chance to see them. See if I can bring it around here again. Well, that kind of winds things up. Any questions about anything before we head in? All right. So I'm going to circle around and get you back here to the docking area. Now as we pull in, we do bump a little bit. Don't let that startle you. Try to bring in nice and easy. We do graciously accept gratuity, so if you've enjoyed your trip and would like to tip, you're welcome to support on the glass bottom. However, that is strictly voluntary. I do appreciate you taking your time to come out, especially on a little bit of a chilly day. At least the sun's out. See a little bit of the springs and some of the wildlife. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your afternoon here at Silver Springs. We're going to get you docked up and going here in just a minute.
Okay, now that we're off the Glass Bottom boat tour, we're going to take a walk. There's a walking trail around the river, and we'll take a look and see what's out here. Sometimes you can see wildlife, and if we do, I'll show them to you. A little bit of background history on the boardwalk.
River.
And then feeding the wild monkeys is prohibited, so you can see monkeys out here and everything. So, oh wow, it's a $500 fine and 60 days in jail. So guides, if you ever get mad at your wife, you got a way to get away from them. So
Come feed the monkeys.
come feed the monkeys.
No, we're not telling you to do that.
Problem is, Caesar will probably throw something to him behind me and tell people it's me.
Oh, I dropped it.
Yeah. It's really pretty here. Florida palm trees.
Both in my video.
It's called Slippery.
That's my Pittsburghese. I'm sorry, I'm Florida, but I'm
Slippy, okay, so I'll remember that word. Goodness gracious.
kind of an overlook down here, looks like.
Oh yeah, okay, that's what this building is.
I yet to see a monkey.
Nope, no monkeys today. It's way too cold for me.
Yeah,
Probably
they're bedding down somewhere. It's too chilly.
Amen.
What you doing for the
What?
water is so crystal clear though. It's just gorgeous. See the water looks like.
I know.
Fish.
It's absolutely beautiful here. Let's show you. So peaceful.
Guess they leave it in there for fish.
Little nice little pavilion that you can sit and take a break on and just enjoy your day.
There's some benches. Nice benches.
Yep.
It's really pretty.
So Susan and I are planning on taking weekly excursions like this to show you guys a lot of accessible things throughout Florida as well as the rest of the United States. We've got some big plans coming up, especially since my ride across America has been canceled for the time being. We've got some neat, exciting things coming up throughout this year, towards the end of the year, and then we're actually going to, somewhere beginning of the year 2022, we're going to hit the road and go cross country. So we're going to have an RV and we're going to go see some sights. So we hope you guys will join in and visit us and join us on this excursion that we're going to take. It's going to be a lot of fun. So.
It says no swimming.
Oh, yeah, it's because it's slippy.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's gators.
It's too slippy to swim.
There's actually water spiders.
She doesn't like spiders.
I can see them.
So serene, except for the ambulance siren in the background. This will be good to add music to for this walk through here.
Can we add in the thing that you can still donate to get kids to maybe have a link or something.
Yeah.
You can still donate to
Yeah, let me put that on here.
advertise that a little bit.
Yep. By the way, everyone, even though I won't be taking that trip across the country on my scooter for now, you guys can still donate to Give Kids the World. It's a great charity for terminally ill and critically ill children. Right now, they're closed because they can't house anybody because of COVID, but they're still doing a lot of things to make sure that these families are taken care of in the best way that they can. So please, if you find it in your hearts, there's a link down in the description to Give Kids the World. Go to their website and donate, because it's a wonderful charity, and it's one that I hold very dear to my heart. So thanks a lot, guys, and I appreciate it. Yep. Like in that tree right there, it looks like Spanish moss. That's pretty typical down here in Florida.
Like Georgia down, I think, Savannah.
Yeah, they do have a lot in Savannah. To another lean-to area, it looks like.
Yes, it is very walking friendly. They have like little
absolutely
places to pull off and take a rest and enjoy
Yep.
the scenery.
Yeah, this is probably one of the most serene parks I've ever been to.
It really is.
So if you ever are down here in Florida on vacation, for example, if you do go to Disney World, this is about an hour and a half from Disney World. It's a very easy drive. You just go up, what is it, 419, and then hit the Florida Turnpike. So it's really easy to get to.
This is kind of a little, I bet you they have like a nature thing.
Oh, they do.
It's an amphitheater.
Yep.
I bet you they have kind of like a little learning.
I bet they do. I'm sure because of COVID right now they don't, but yeah, it's
I
like,
bet you schools come out here for field trips and
oh, I'm sure. Isn't this nice? Just a really nice setup with the water in the background. So I'm sure during non-COVID times they will probably have it on their website of different events that they have that you can come and see. Yeah, it was one thing I was surprised that they filled the boat up as much as they did, but I think that's because right now he was saying they're in phase 3, or what did he call it? Phase 3, which means no masks are required. But most places down here are, most individual businesses are basically requiring you to wear a mask inside. A lot of restaurants there's people walking without masks. And I think that's okay as long as everybody, you know, keeps their social distancing. So it is what it is, everyone. Do me a favor in the comments below. Let us know some other places, maybe starting out here in Florida, that you guys would like to see. Susan and I go, we're willing to travel anywhere throughout the state of Florida, and then we're going to also probably start taking monthly trips out of the state and heading to different places across the country and seeing some sights. We're going to make some future trips up to probably do Savannah, maybe Charleston, South Carolina. We're going to go check out Myrtle Beach. So any place else you can think of. I know we want to do St. Augustine. All the accessible places that you can go, and kind of give you some really good information on what there is to do and how to get to it. So if you know anybody, if you see this video and you know somebody who is accessibly challenged, whether they're disabled or elderly, tune them into our channel, because I think this will be a lot of good information for them, and we have a lot of fun bringing these videos to you. You know, Susan and I would love to hear from you and just, you know, give us your ideas. Hey everyone, Susan and I wanted to say thank you for joining us today on our tour of Silver Springs and the Glass Bottom Boat Tour. And please comment below again and let us know where you'd like us to go next, and we'll keep you tuned on all of our adventures.
Thanks, everybody.
Take care.
See you.
See ya.